Hello again. Well, it is graduation season, and we begin with that today and this controversy that is going on amongst Catholics on whether or not Barack Obama should be allowed to speak at Notre Dame University, one of the leading Catholic institutions in the country. So far, the speech is on. A new poll out today by Quinnipiac College says that 60% of Catholics in this country favor Barack Obama speaking there. But some do not, and among them is Bill Donohue, who is the president of the Catholic League. Mr. Donohue is with us in New York. Here in Washington is James Salt of the Catholics United. He thinks that the invitation should not be withdrawn. But Bill Donohue, I want to start with you because I was struck by what you said the other day. You said Notre Dame giving an honorary degree to Barack Obama would be the same as if the African-American University Howard gave a degree to David Duke, the former head of the KKK. That's pretty strong talk.
Yeah, and President Obama is pretty strong on abortion, isn't he? When he was in the Illinois State Senate, he supported selective infanticide. He's against the Supreme Court decision banning partial birth abortion. He has a 100% voting record with NARAL. He told Planned Parenthood that the first thing I'd do as president, if it came to his desk, would be to sign the most draconian, sweeping pro-abortion law ever proposed, the Freedom of Choice Act. He's worked against the health care rights of people who say, I think it's morally repugnant to do certain procedures. Now, this is a man who I don't think it's possible to find somebody who's a greater champion of abortion rights. He's diametrically opposed to the Catholic Church's teachings on an issue which we consider to be intrinsically evil. That's why you have 74 bishops and about 75% of the Notre Dame alumni and people like myself saying, yes, let the man speak. He is the President of the United States. He should be given an opportunity to debate, to speak in a symposium as a panelist and a discussant. I separate myself from those people who say he has no role to play on the campus.
Right.
My problem is not speaking. He should not be given an honor.
All right. Well, we're going to let the other side of this story come from one of your fellow Catholics, the head of Catholics United, or I should say the head of communications for them, James Salt, who's with us. So
thank you.
Take it step by step.
Well, thank you, Mr. Schieffer. We believe that the attacks on Notre Dame are really being orchestrated by those who'd like to make cheap political points rather than address the serious moral challenges facing our country today, which, including abortion, also includes war, torture, poverty, all threats to human life and dignity.
Well, I know that Notre Dame did give an honorary degree to George Bush, and he is for the death penalty.
That's right. And
how is this different from that?
Not only did he support it, but while he was governor, the state of Texas executed 152 people. No small thing to do as a governor of Texas. Furthermore, when President Bush spoke at St. Vincent College just as recently as a year ago, there was no comment from the Catholic League about President Bush's position on torture, which the Catholic Church teaches is, yes, an intrinsic evil.
All right. So, Bill Donohue, your response to that?
Well, if he wants to make the case that George Bush is in favor of torture, he can. I think that's a despicable position. George Bush was a brave and honorable man, as is President Obama, and I think it's wrong to say that he's in favor of torture. Regarding the death penalty, it's not intrinsically evil. The Catholic Church is presumptively opposed to it. That is to say, it leaves the door open in certain limited circumstances.
Well, the Pope's against it, isn't he?
He's no. The Pope is not uniformly, absolutely opposed to the death penalty. Nobody in the Catholic hierarchy, the magisterium of the Church, or the Catholic Catechism. Abortion and racism would be a better example of what's intrinsically evil. Now, Bob, just yesterday, Barack Obama did something which I commend him for. He pivoted, didn't he? He gave conservatives who were strong on national security something. He said, I'm not going to release the photos of the detainees. He says he's against abortion. But the problem is he's never given us anything. He's never done anything. All he does is overturn executive orders. When it comes to legislative and executive mandates, he gives us absolutely nothing. He does do it on national security.
Well, let me just disagree with Mr. Donohue. President Obama has initiated a conversation in the West Wing in his Domestic Policy Council to find ways of bringing both the pro-life and the pro-choice communities together to find constructive solutions to actually reducing the number of abortions in this country. We are a pro-life organization. There are 1.2 million abortions a year in this country. That's 1.2 million abortions too many. But for too long, this conversation has been driven by rhetoric, not results. And finally, there's an office holder who's willing to actually bring sides together to say, let's find some common ground. Let's actually find some solutions to give women and families the tools they need to choose life. That's something that's unprecedented. And Mr. Donohue, I'd like to ask you to join the president in articulating what a constructive pro-life abortion reduction platform would look like. We need your brilliance, we need your thinking to help us articulate this vision, Mr. Donohue. Join us in having this conversation.
James, here's the problem I have. You are opposed to racism, and so am I. You wouldn't say, let's have a dialogue in reducing racial discrimination. You say you want to use the weapon of the law in as well. And I'm simply saying this. There are a lot of Catholics out there, like yourself, and I'm not impugning your credibility. I'm just simply saying this. You don't want to use the legislative weapon when it comes to abortion, but when it comes to racial discrimination, you do. That leaves people like me thinking that maybe you regard racism as even worse than abortion. I think abortion's worse because it actually kills.
Well, a lot of things kill. The Catholic bishops teach that the targeting of civilians in warfare is an intrinsic evil. We can't go around mitigating threats to human life and dignity. Like there are.
Why don't you want to use the legal remedy?
Well, Roe v. Wade has been in place for 35 years, and it's not going to be overturned anytime soon.
Do you want it to be?
Yes. Therefore, wouldn't it be worth our interest to join together to find constructive solutions to actually give women and families the tools they need to choose life? Like, for example, healthcare. President Obama is beginning a conversation to actually provide every American in this country access to affordable health care. That we know is a platform that will reduce the number of abortions. Male unemployment is, again, one of the single largest indicators of correlated factors to the decision to choose an abortion. If we find ways of supporting one another and building policies that support the common good, we can actually find another way up this mountain.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr.
Listen,
Donohue.
when Obama was in the state Senate in Illinois, he led the fight to make certain there wouldn't be any health care for the baby who survived a botched abortion. Now, I mean, how much further can we get? Partial birth abortion is something the former mayor of Ed Koch, who's a good guy and pro-choice, said was infanticide. Daniel Patrick Moynihan said that partial birth abortion was infanticide. President Obama disagrees with almost everybody in the country, disagrees with the Supreme Court ban on it. How in the world can you say that the man is pro-life?
Let me just inject one thing here because I want to ask you this. Some people are saying that people in the church, such as yourself, who are taking the position you're taking, are willing to go easy on Barack Obama here for political reasons, because you don't want to alienate, for example, Hispanic voters who are coming and voted overwhelmingly for Barack Obama the last time. Is there some politics in what you're talking about here?
Well, no, I believe that our nation is facing some very serious moral challenges with the economic crisis, with 2 wars abroad. We need leadership today to get us out of the hole that we're in. And we need leadership that we believe President Obama can give us to actually bring some moral clarity back to our foreign policy and to help figure out how the most vulnerable are going to be protected in the economic meltdown that we're going through. So it's not just a question of simple politics. It's a question of where are we today as a nation. We're facing some very serious challenges. We need the leadership today more than ever.
And I'll close with you, Mr. Donohue. Is this an argument over morality or is this an argument over politics here?
Oh, obviously it's morality. I mean, quite frankly, science teaches us, not the Catholic Church, that human life begins at conception. That's the DNA properties. That's when it all begins there. Now, I'm simply saying this. If you really are against abortion, then how in the world could you just put on the table and leave it there? Every single legal remedy, but when it comes to racial discrimination, you will use the weapon of the law. There's something there that just doesn't work.
All right, we have to leave it there. Thank you both for a very enlightening discussion. This is Washington Unplugged, and we'll be back with more.